My name is Alfonso Jimenez, and I'm going to answer the following questions according to the documentary Narcoculture or Narcocultura we watched last class. Talking about the types of violence proposed by Galton, we can see direct violence, which this is the most obvious kind of violence shown in the documentary. This type of violence is where people get physically hurt. In the documentary, we can see people murdering, torturing. We can see plenty of this kind of violence. Another kind of violence we can see is structural violence. This is about inequality. Talking about opportunities and resources leading to people suffering with their lives. The documentary shows the poverty and the lack of options these people are living in, which leads them towards the narco or gangs. Another one and the last kind of violence we can see is cultural violence, which is this kind of violence involves ideas and norms in order to glorify violence. An example is narcocorridos, which this kind of music is explored through the documentary. These narcocorridos is the prime example of this cultural violence, which glamorizing and idealizing drugs and violence is like the main message. According to the concept of gore capitalism of Sayak Valencia, we can see in the documentary exposing this. Drugs cartels make a huge profit of it, make a huge profit from violence and from drugs, while media like TV or newspapers might sensationalize drug war only for views. This is like a win-win because media get the benefits. Moreover, drug cartels get more clients or more followers, and this is a gore capitalism. According to the modality of evil, the documentary Narcocultura shows cartel members and also those who are involved in violence. They show this behavior just like a normal behavior between these people. These people, I am referring to the ones who are involved in narco cartels or drug cartels. I mean, this environment leads to brutality, leads to violence, and leads to this behavior, which nowadays is normalized between Mexicans, unfortunately. In my point of view, narco culture and cartels affect society globally because these drug cartels or these narco cartels leads to violence everywhere, not only in Mexico but also like USA, in the north of Mexico and in the south of USA, in the borderline. Increases corruption, like the government of Mexico. For example, when Felipe Calderon declared war to the narco cartels. Not only these consequences are important, but also narco culture or cartels lead to communities tearing apart. And in my personal point of view, this narco culture is something we are used to live with, unfortunately, because nowadays it's just normal to see cartel drugs, narco culture everywhere, not only the north of the country, but also here in Mexico City, because there are a lot of narco gangs everywhere, and they are like fighting to get the territories, the states of Mexico. That's what I mean. We have just normalized the situation of narcoculture because this is something we live day after day. We live with violence, we live with drugs, we live with this narcoculture. And unfortunately, new generations are growing up with wrong ideas about violence and wrong ideas about violence coming from this group of people.